Thank you, Lance Sensei. Thank you. It's wonderful to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting. If I haven't met you yet, my name is James Pankiewicz. I'm very fortunate to be able to live and train in Okinawa, where I've made my life for the past 16, 17 years now. Today I'm very pleased also to be able to bring my daughter, Selena, with me, who is training in karate and kobudo. I'm very happy about that, but she's got a bit of a leg injury today, so she's going to be our official camera woman today. Thank you so much for coming. A fantastic group of people. I feel somewhat humbled to be in your presence. Many of you I regard as my colleagues and my seniors, so I hope that we will have fun today. As many of you know, my connection to Matsubashi in particular is through my sponsor and teacher in Okinawa, Arakaki Toshimitsu Sensei. He is an incredibly generous individual and teacher, and I think a wonderful role model in terms of being a wonderful Okinawan gentleman. I hope that today is an opportunity to, and I train with him, by the way, once a week, and often it's just the two of us, maybe 2-3 people. So I hope this seminar is also an opportunity to pass on some of the things that Arakaki Sensei and I work through and train together. He is constantly pushing the boundaries of his understanding of his karate and kobudo, which I think is a wonderful thing. But also, just in the spirit of full disclosure, although karate and kobudo are my main activities, I've been fortunate enough to practice other martial arts along the way too. So I've been training for about 35 years now. Other arts include jiu-jitsu, various schools of Chinese kung fu, boxing, and other things along the way. So that all adds to the flavor of my karate. And I'm kind of okay now with saying that I'm going to teach you my karate. Or I can only teach you my karate. I don't really have a choice when you think about it, right? So hopefully, though, you'll find in that some flavors of, as I mentioned, the traditional Matsubashi karate as practiced in Okinawa, and some other bits and pieces too. We'll train for 3 hours today. I think we'll take a couple of breaks along the way. I hear it's going to get quite warm in here. So, shall we start with a bow, as we usually would? Yeah, we'll bow to the front. Hi. Kyotsuke. Shomen ni. Rei. Hai. Otagai ni. Rei. Onegaishimasu. Okay. So we're going to roll up onto our toes and then back and lift the toes. So up and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And just jumping on the spot. Forwards and backwards. Good. Left leg forward. Right side. Ni, san, shi, go, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Hands on hips. Rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. When we reach up, forward, stretch, come back, stretch the other way. Hey, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit deeper. Go. 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Feet where they are. Twist. 1, knee. Kansetsu in Japanese being joints. There's a drill that we introduced into our dojo, which aims to give us the beginnings of an understanding of how our joints work and how to apply that in terms of looking to affect the other person's balance. So we're just going to run through 5 positions. Actually, it's 5 plus 1, so 6 altogether. But the 5 you can do by yourself. The 6th one you can only do when working with another person. So, solo drill first. Okay, so if you copy me, like this, here. So we take this, number 1. Okay, and we roll our way from the body. Shni, san, shi, go. So we'll call this number 1. Okay. Turn. Number 2, thumb down, fingers forward. We pull into the body. So pull into the chest. Shni, san. Usually fingers on top. San, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. So the hand's going to stay there now. Number 3, we reach under and we twist the fingers back to the face. Ich, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. Good. Drop the hand to the side. Reach around and twist. So we bring the little finger joint back in towards the center of our body. So twist and lift a little bit. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. You should feel torsion and a stretch through the little finger joint. From here, turn the hand over, grasp the fingers, and draw across the body. So this is the equivalent of an arm bar, yeah? Stretching the elbow, wrist, and fingers. Shni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. Good. So we change to the other side. So bend the wrist first, and then apply torsion. Twist. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. Number 2, bringing the wrist in towards the chest. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. Number 3, reach underneath and twist back to the face. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. Good. Drop the hand to the side, reach around and twist back in towards your center. Ich, ni, san, shi. Try and keep the elbow upright and the arm vertical. It just makes it easier to kind of feel where this is and use it. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. And then number 5, take the fingers and stretch across the body. Okay, so this angle, what angle works and what one doesn't work so well. So if I just push straight back in, it doesn't really work so well. If I go right out to the side, it's so-so. But if I find the right angle, I should get this happening. Yeah, I start to affect their balance. Kozushi comes into effect. And if I use 2 hands, obviously it's more power, but really I want to just try to see what angle is that working or working, not working, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, I'll come around the back, okay? And I'll keep the elbow tucked in down to the body, not up. Yeah, you're asking me to be smacked in the face there. Keep it tucked down, and here I'm just stretching. Yeah, we might do this with 1 hand or 2 hands, and I want to see again. But now I'm here and I can feel it. You can feel when that changes, but use taps as well to let people know when that's going on, okay? But really what I want to do is get that feeling when he starts to lift up, yeah? Number 3, I'm going to bring this back round in front. Try and keep 90 degrees and 90 degrees, and I twist in and down through the center. So if it was just here, I'd be doing this. Pushing like this. If you push this way, it doesn't really work so well. You have to go in and down, yeah? So in and down, there. And the knees bend as the body tries to get away from the pain, right? Number 4, come underneath, okay? Lift up and twist. If you work against the little finger joint, it doesn't negate, but you're not working against his muscle and his strength. If you do this, yeah, he's big and strong, it gets a lot harder. Work against the little finger joint, yeah, and try and get the lifting up on the toes, okay? So I twist and I lift there. Next one, bring it across the body here. Now this is, for us karateka, basically geiranbarai. Yeah, so I bring this back and I hyperextend the elbow. I get this effect. So this is the simple one here, no? This one, yeah? Okay, or through here, and I look for the figure 4 arm lock. And again, I can feel him going up on his toes. That's the result I want. I want the hop there. Okay, so those are the 5. Number 6, as I'm here now, circle through, and I look for this position here. Okay? So, ready to give it a try? A lot of you, I know, are familiar with arm locks anyway, okay? So it shouldn't be too much of a leap. But it's interesting to me how sometimes there is a gap in karateka's skill base when it comes to doing joint locks, because it's not necessarily something that's taught in a fully sort of modular way within all karate systems, right? So if you've done any jiu-jitsu, you'll be very familiar with these. If you are familiar with these techniques already, could you just put your hand up, please? A bit of space, just use the space. Right, so I'm going to take my partner's right hand in my left hand. I take his right hand in my left hand. And you see the way I'm holding. I'm principally holding like the fleshy part of the thumb was the grip. Yeah? Don't hold the wrist. This is something I see happen quite a lot. It's a wrist lock, so I hold the wrist. No. What you do is stabilize the wrist if you do that. It's the opposite of what you need to do, right? So hold the fingers here, grab that thumb, and I like to try and position my thumb between his second and third digits. Yeah? Right? For me, that gives me good grip. Yeah? And if I had to bring the other hand in, it would come in and do the same thing on the other side. And so I'd end up with a grip like this. But for now, let's see if we can get one hand working and find the angle that causes the other person's knees to bend, to buckle. Yeah? This shouldn't be a strength thing. He's a strong guy, so you've got to use a bit of strength, but it shouldn't be force on force. This is force on force, yeah, but if I find the right angle, yeah, I should be able to affect his balance without just pure brute force, okay? Number one, let's give it a try, and we'll come around and help. Hi. Thank you, Sensei. Hi. Yeah. And try to cause his posture to change. And if it's a big, strong guy, you might need to use two hands. Yeah, you want to get that posture change. The reason I don't say put two hands here straight away is because there's always a free hand, right? So this is kind of a bad habit. So when you're using this one, you've got to keep this one free, right? To cover, strike, whatever. Yeah. Strike here. So, okay, so it's going to be that angle. Yeah. Second one, okay? I was this one on me, right? It's doing this here, yeah, like this. So with my partner now, I'm going to make a base, and I'm simply going to pull the fingers back towards that elbow. Okay, so just pull. Yeah. Another way to do this is the walking somebody out of the nightclub, scenario, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to pull back in that direction there. Okay. Okay, hi.
It's very funny.
Yeah. What I don't want is to do it like this, where this pops up and hits you in the chin. So it's all going to be a down angle, either your center or into the crook of the arm. Yeah? Yeah. And here, yeah, because you want to stretch this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. 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 Good. This goes on really quick. This is actually not a control technique as much as a break. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's boom, and you break it and it goes on quick. So when we do positions like this here, like we do remember when we do it on ourselves, we put what we would call sort of a gooseneck, yeah? So we try to put this to 90 degrees and this to 90 degrees, and it's torsion, yeah? If you just push this, there's not much there, to be honest. What you're doing is really kind of replicating this, but it's not so strong because there's no table, there's no base there, yeah? So this is torsion, it's twisting. You want to twist. If your finger's going to be here, yeah, you're going to poke in and down through, right? It doesn't require much motion, yeah, particularly if you're older joints, speaking for myself, right? Just a little bit is enough there, yeah? This is a break, right? All of our karate joint locking techniques are breaking techniques. Because this is not a great control. If I want to get out of danger, if I stand here doing this, right, trying to control him, I'm going to get smacked, yeah? This is a break, right? But for now, we're just going to put enough on there, yeah? Just enough for the rotation. If the arm is straight, you can still kind of do it. It's a little bit harder, yeah? You can do it sideways too, right? Yeah, so, but this is kind of the training framework, because it's easier to see and you get the effect, yeah? Thank you for your patience. All right, so from 2, come round and get 3. Yeah. Here, yeah, is this, right? So, you wouldn't always be transitioning from one lock to another, but from here, we actually have a path to get to this, right? Okay, so you don't need to sort of fiddle around with it. Here, look, I'm going to try and grab, really focus on grabbing his little finger joint, because that's what I'm going to manipulate. Yeah?
I'm not high enough.
All right, so you're not always going to get to it this way. You're not always going to come in this way, right? In a minute, we'll do another way to catch this on the way in, or actually on the way back out. This little finger joint. Yeah, there we go. That's transition.
Could you show it on me so my partner...
Sure. So you grab, right?
I grab
Right,
like
the punch is probably coming in, yeah, so I'm going to cover and bring this in and do number 3.
Yep.
Yeah? Strike, here, there. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah. So
then you're out of line as well.
yeah. So the advantage of this is I don't want to be moving into this, right? Yeah. So if you grabbed and hit and I was too slow, I'd have to come through here, look for this to break the stance, makes it harder for you to punch me again. Yeah. So you want to stay behind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Number 1.
2. This hand, come around here. There. There, yeah. And use this hand to stabilize, so just hook on there. That's right. Twist, there, and then push in and down. Yeah. There you go, that's it, yeah. There you go. Yeah. So, our transition from here. Yeah, sure. So, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sensei. All right. Now this looks good, but what's the disadvantage of this? Yeah, you can't stay here, right? So if there's 2 of you, if I've got my mate and he's on the other side doing the same thing on the other arm, that's great. Out we go. But this is not a good control technique because he's got a free hand. Yeah? So again, it will be a break, right? And then out of there. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And from there, yeah, you're over the top here. You can go under there and bring in there. You're over the top, yeah, good. And let's go under, cycle under. So from here, cycle under. You're going to end up facing him. Yeah. If you come here, it's harder for you to do. So you end up facing them. Okay, and then bring this on here. Go under. There you go. Yeah. Yes, absolutely, yeah. So if you push on the shoulder, it's okay, but if Andrea Sensei just stand up, yeah, it's pretty strong, right? It's all his body strength here. So this is okay, but this also too here is a little bit stronger. Now stand up, you can fight back against and control it a little bit more. So yeah. The habitual acts of violence, the things you're most commonly going to see. Look at grabs, right? So if somebody grabs you on the same side, okay, usually what that means is they're priming to probably hit you or push you with the other hand, yeah? Okay. So in that case, we're going to come up, going to roll and strike, okay? It's really, really straightforward, right? I'm going to roll this way. I'm going to roll away from that fist here and look to strike in here, yeah? So we're going to roll, come under there and strike in here. Now, from there, we can then put on that second wrist lock, okay? So if we're being grabbed, we're going to roll, come under, look to strike, and then move behind and put on that wrist lock. Okay, so of course, if that punch is coming, we're going to need to cover as we do this. Strike, and bring down. Okay, right. As soon as we get grabbed there, we need to be aware that this is very likely coming, right? Yeah. So if it's a grab and a punch, cover. As we're covering, we're rolling in bringing this through. So it's this motion here. So this is a good result. Right? This is a good result because my posture is broken, which means when he hits me, it's going to be twice as bad for me. Yeah, twice as bad. Okay, so as soon as we get that grab, circle and try to move, out of my strike zone and into your strike zone, right? And then boom, boom, all the way down. Yeah, right. Okay. Ideally, this is going to happen ideally as one motion, right? Yeah, so when we train this, don't go super strong, but as soon as you get touched, try to move, okay? Don't wait and think about it, right? As soon as they grab, right, step through, so it's this. Okay, give it a try. As soon as they grab you, you're circling over the top, grabbing, coming through and striking. If you then have the opportunity, you put on more force, more rotation into that same lock position. Okay, and that would be looking to damage, properly damage or break the wrist. Okay, thanks, Jean-Luc. Okay, hey. Try to go under and put the lock on there.
Yeah.
And as you do that, you strike, and then you can put that on more afterwards. Okay, yeah. There, yeah. Don't forget to hit. Because if you hit, it would be much easier to do the lock as well. Boom, yeah. So, good. Yeah.
Now, your turn.
Good, now, how to give that more motion, right? We just do this side, right? Now, if I stand in front, I can kind of get it, it's okay, but as this happens, if I pivot, right, I get a better angle and I'm further away from his hand. So, take him that way, yeah, Kotegashi. Same way, yeah. So, grab me, yeah. As soon as I get here, on this, right, and then continue. So I want to try and get away. If you grab and punch, grab and punch, whew, I need to cover, and as I'm doing this, right, and then, if I grab you here and do this, you know this punch is coming, right? I mean, if I don't do it, I just make your life easier, yeah?
I don't have my glasses.
Ideally, I'm going to try and get around to here, and I pivot, I pivot, and then I strike to break. Now, I can go for this one. Yeah.
The start is the same. So if you go this one, the other one here.
There, yes. And pivot this way to go further away from his other hand, right? So yeah. So the same time that you're breaking his stance, you're hitting him, and then here. Right, I just look for the break. Right? Yeah. So not so much a control technique, just damage. Disable. No more fighting, right? Yeah. Like traditional Okinawan karate, you can find pretty much every kind of technique that you might think of, to be honest, because it's such a broad church. Karate is not a style, right? Any more than cooking expresses every single kind of cuisine, right? Karate is a coverall for a lot of arts that were in Okinawa and came through Okinawa, right? So in that case, you're going to find an enormous variety, okay? But one thing I think is part of the Kian karate, which is one of the lines that comes down through Matsuba-Shiryu, is that, and I think this was tempered somewhat when judo became part of the standard practice, and when Nagamine Shoshin sensei, for example, had to teach people probably policing technique as much as anything else, may have tempered the fact that almost every joint locking technique is the opportunity to break, or look to break that joint, right? And Kian Chotoku's philosophy was more of that of defanging the snake, right? So if you can take away the other person's weapons, then that's the end of the fight. If you can disable their limbs, take the fight out of them, then end of fight. Yeah, it's a little more brutal than what we then think of or we see in joint locks in judo, where it's necessarily controlled, because we don't want to permanently damage our training partners, and it's more of a sporting context, right? So, but here, for example, is a good illustration of that. So when we get grabbed here, we move out that zone, and we're still covering for that punch here. Yeah, yes, we're going to strike in here, but also this opportunity to strike through here. This is going to look more like this kind of technique that we see in our karate, right? Yeah, you get grabbed, right, here, set up that hand, and punch through there, looking to essentially shear that wrist. Yeah, you just want to damage it, break it, so you can't use it. Okay, that should be the end of the fight. If it's not, you really want to get away from this guy. Yeah, but you get to see the point, right? It's not necessarily a control technique. In fact, when you think about it, most of these joint locking techniques, they're not great control techniques, particularly if it was, you're thinking, oh, well, I have to do this against somebody bigger and stronger than me, potentially. Yeah, so you don't want to get into a wrestling match with somebody that's bigger and stronger with you. It's more looking for an opportunity to disable, right? Okay, so this here motion, more familiar from our karate. Okay, next one, cross grab. Okay, just there, yeah? Cross grab, we're going to step off and strike straight in. And then we're going to step through and do that break or disarm, depending on how much we hold on to them or they hold us. Here, here, okay, right? If I decide I don't like him, and I'm going to hold on to that, then this becomes the break. Yeah, we're just going to go that far. Okay, so again, I assume he grabs me, he's going to try and punch me. Right, and I step through. Yeah, thank you. All right, so now I step off the other way, turn, strike, there's my Gyakuzuki position, and I step through to my Geidan Barai. You just go. Hey. Thank you, John. So remember, you're bracing against the body. That Geidan Barai position, your body is the fulcrum. Body. And from there, I'm going to step through this. So this is my Geidan Barai position. Right? Now you can come over the top, that's also okay. Yeah? But you can also just strike from there, just come straight through. Yeah, and you're just looking to pop that elbow, basically. Okay, yes. As an example, just one more, right? Jean-Luc, if you wouldn't mind. Fine. Okay, so Jean-Luc comes through with a 1-2. 1, I counter here. Yeah? So 1-2, I counter here. Now, as he pulls back and his hand goes back, naturally, I'm going to try and stick to it and come to this position. All right, then I'm going to come through here and get this one. Yeah, up, and then I'll look for the ring down. Okay, so one more time. Okay, don't fixate on this. Okay, don't do this. Because now he's also going to fixate on it. Okay, and he's not going to just pull it back naturally. He will be very defensive about it, and you won't get it. Yeah, so when he pulls back, you just go with, you stick to it. Right? 1, 2, as he comes back. 1, 2, yeah. Here. You look to get that one, yeah. And then we can go from there. We can hit and bring down. Okay. So don't force it. Okay. This one is this position. If you try and force it, he's got all the time in the world. Yeah, to not let it happen. Don't let it happen. Don't let me get this. Yep. So he's got all the time in the world, right, to counter that. So I want to kind of have it happen when he's distracted with something else. This is very much opportunistic. You get it or you don't get it. Yeah, it's opportunistic, right? Because all kinds of reasons why, you know, he pulls back, the hand slips out because it's sweaty. Okay, right? So all kind of reasons why you might not get it, but here. Right, this is the kind of motion that we're looking for. Okay? Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Sensei. Right. Iidesu? So 1, 2. Your 2 is not a parry, you counter strike. So you can punch through the face or open hand through the face. And this one is just indexing his extended hand. Try and stick to it. Muchimi, stickiness, stick to it and move in with it. Okay? Right. Right. Yeah, so you have to distract and move with him naturally. And when you move, right, when he steps in, you move, try to get to a safer position. Yeah, you can clamp it here and put this on too, or you can change hands and put this on. Allow him to put his hand back, and you go with it. Okay, right. So let's say they're a lot taller, so this is going to be more natural here, right? Striking through here. Yeah, that's okay. And then this hand will come back, and then I'll look to cover here, right?
Oh, you forgot that part.
Yeah. Yeah. So, right. Usually, people don't leave their arms out; they go back. Yeah. Yeah. Here. Yeah. Okay. So, depending on the height, you might end up over the top or underneath, but try to index. Right, now as that hand comes back, as he chambers the hand, bring your hand back.
This one. This one. There you go with the movement of this one.
Yeah. Okay, so he's doing this. 1, 2, and chambering. Yeah. 1, 2, and chambering, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So if I get 1, let's just have a boxing. 1, 2.
Front.
Yeah. Let's have this one. Let's have this one. Yeah. So 1, 2. Right. Now when this one comes back, here. I look to get this
the
one.
movement when I put it back.
Yeah, now, I have to be careful of this hand. I push here, and then I draw down. Yeah. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So hit through the ribs, hit through the ribs. Okay. So if you're struggling there, hit through the ribs. It's more natural for you to do, right? If you end up lower underneath the elbow. The main thing is, for the person that you're working with, try to be natural. They go 1, 2, and chamber. 1, 2, and chamber, okay? If you go 1, 2, we're very used to doing that to give our partner the opportunity to work with that arm. But actually, this works on the basis that that's not what's going to happen. They're going to chamber their guard back, right? So 1, 2, their arm's going to come back, and you want to just use that and redirect it. Yeah? If they are here and you try to do this, it won't work, right? 1, 2. Okay, so you want to try and stick to them, this idea of being sticky, stick to their hands. There's another one, so there's another very kind of sticky way of doing things, so same 1, 2 please, right? 1, 2, here, look, right? So, right, 1, 2, this kind of stickiness, yeah? This kind of stickiness, yeah? And then we get into all the same positions that we were just looking at. The stickiness is in this hand, right? So I'm not going 1, 2, yeah? Right? I'm going stick, and through, for example, yeah? So muchimi in Okinawan language, muchimi. Sticky hands, right? The hands that are like sticky rice cake, right? So when that comes through, stick. Yeah, and then look, try to get that positions where you're more open. Yeah. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so one more time. Try to 1, 2, reset. 1, 2, reset. If the other person doesn't catch that in time, that's fine. Now you know how fast you need to be. Right? 1, 2, reset. 1, 2, reset. Yeah. 1, 2. Not real. Okay, one more time. Just give it a try, yeah? Thanks, Sensei. Yeah.
Like combination.
Yeah.
Movement I do with my, I've now since 8 weeks, I have a group from 12 to 7.
I agree. Okay, MA. Hi. Okay. Let's work on this one. Okay, so again, we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to try to come up here and get this here. Yeah. Bring this down here. Now, from here, we can look to take hair, and we'll just bring down to here. Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. Doesn't. Okay. So stick, stick, find a way through. Okay, bring down. Okay, if you can, look to get that knee in the back of the shoulder and the hand propped in front. Why is this better than, say, doing this? Because there's more chance you can stay up and look around. And if you're like, okay, I just need to make sure this guy doesn't come after me again and deal with his friends, you exit that way. Yep. You just exit that way. Yeah. Okay. It's not particularly subtle. All right, so I don't want to hit. 1, 2. I'm going to find a way in here. Here. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to jam that knee in here. And if I now have the option to go that way, if I need to, right? Okay. Thank you for your patience. Right. Okay. So, yes. Oh. Okay. Okay. Come on out. Come on, have a look at it there. Always a good idea to ask questions. Yeah. Let's do it again this way. Yeah. So, punch, punch. Find the way in. So, remember that number 6 we did where we worked against here? Yeah? Yeah? Now I'm going to bring the head over so I can grab an ear or a head and bring down here. Then bring the knee in there and look to get to this position. Okay? Right? So, one more time. So, 1, 2. Now look, try to snake your way in. You might need to use something additional here. Yeah, bring this in there. Right. Step behind. Okay. Now, what you can do here is use turning power. So just turn, bring them down. Yeah. Here. Just use rotation. Okay. Okay. So it's going to differ from person to person. So with someone bigger or someone smaller, yeah, you're going to find it's going to differ. Okay. Whether you need to do more rotational movement or whether you can just kind of go straight down. Okay, also depends to some extent how much pain they're in from their shoulder, which depends how flexible they are. If they're very flexible, you'll find that there's less cooperation. If they're not so flexible, there's more cooperation usually, right? Because it goes on much quicker. Okay, thank you. Right? Okay, so give that one a try. So now, 1, 2, find your way in. This is a little closer to where we're going with the kata, right? Here, yeah. That's this one, right? So, guys are doing great here. We're working on applications of joint locks with a particular focus on disabling the opponent. So, defanging the snake, so to speak. And referencing this now, we'll start referencing this to specific positions and movements within Gojushiho Kata. To the side, right? So we go ko-suke, but we sweep to the side.
Yes, it's
Ko-suke, sweep to the side, yeah. So we do ko-suke, but sweep, strike through here, and then strike through. So this brings us to the side, and then we do our nekashi, shuto. There you go.
interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, so about half. Okay, so it's absolutely no critique or condemnation of your training, but I would say that learning to fall safely is a really essential part of your martial arts training. Without which, it's very, very hard then to learn how to throw, all right? Because you need to be able to fall safely in order to be able to learn how to practice throwing with somebody. And if you don't know any throwing techniques, then I think there's whole sections of kata that you're going to kind of have to skip, going to have to go past, or look at them in different ways. So my view on karate is that it's a collection of skill sets. And in fact, if you look at, let's say more modernized, modularized versions of karate, then you tend to see a modularized approach, right? So there'll be an exercise in learning how to breakfall. There'll be an exercise in learning how to do, the first 5 to 10 throws. There'll be an exercise in learning how to do joint locks, how to strangle, how to strike effectively, etc., etc. So I think it's really useful to think about your karate in a modular way. Right? In this way also, it helps you not to get stuck within the barriers of, or sometimes confines of, style. Yeah? So you sometimes, and I think it's kind of a shame, you might hear it said, oh, well, we don't do that in our style, so I don't need to do it, or I don't want to do it. It's kind of a shame, in a way, because if you have a skill set, it unlocks a whole new spectrum of things that you can practice and do with your martial arts practice. It's a bit like tools in a toolbox. Yeah, if you have a toolbox and it only has a hammer in it, then everything looks like a nail, right? No, you know. But over time, you add tools as you learn how to use additional tools. You add them to your toolbox, and you become more refined and more sophisticated in your approach and your response to and your ability to analyze and understand what's put in front of you. I, in the time that we've got left, want to illustrate that within the context of Gojushiho kata, for example. But I think you could illustrate it within the context of any classical Okinawan karate kata, to be honest. Okay, the more insight that you have by having additional skill sets, the more that you're able to look into kata and draw more out of it. Okay, so, okay. Do you want to do a little bit of breakfalling practice? Or just as a warm-up, okay? Just a warm-up. This is the stuff that we would do in my dojo. Yeah, okay. And I'll confess, I didn't learn any of this breakfalling practice from any Matsubashiru teachers in Okinawa. Not a criticism, okay? But sometimes you have to look a little bit wider to learn your modules, yeah? Okay, so here's the first one we're going to do, okay? Just going to kneel, okay? Lead hand, lead arm match, okay? That arm's going to go down. You're going to roll up the line of the arm from the shoulder to the opposite hip. So, tuck your head in and look to the side. Okay, tuck your head and look to the side as much as possible. You want to create and use. Helps sometimes if you keep the circle. Imagine that you're holding a big beach ball. Yeah, big beach ball. You keep that circle. Keep that circle. And try and keep that circle. Yeah. Okay. So you can choose a line on the mat, a line of mats, and try and stay within that your track, so to speak. Line up. Try and stay within your track. You just go. So left side forward, and then right side forward. Okay, just in your own time, come across the mat. And obviously just be careful about not bashing into anybody else. Yep. If you can do it from standing, even better. Fine. Fantastic. Okay. What kind of breakfall you're doing, whatever direction, the measure is if your head touched the mat, that's not a good result. Yeah, imagine this is concrete. Right? You don't want your head bouncing off the floor. Yeah? So what that usually means is to get more. So when you're rolling this way, you need to tuck the head in and look that way. Yeah. If I was falling here, I'd tuck my chin in and keep my head away from the ground. If I was falling forwards, yeah, I wouldn't be looking at the floor. I'd be looking to the other side. If I'm rolling backwards, yeah, I want to tuck my chin in and roll over my shoulder, yeah? So we don't roll straight backwards over our head. Actually, it's not the backwards rolling breakfall we really need to do in the context of what we're going to do, but more the sideways one. So, just because you're all going to work this way, I'll do the same thing. Step here, roll, come up. Step here, roll, come up. Step here, roll, step here, roll. Okay, so still working within your tram line. Okay, this. Keep your head off the floor and come back up. Right. So it's actually an angle. Just work at an angle. Yeah. So. Okay, so couple of points on this. Leap into the air, 6 foot in the air and land sideways. And 1 or 2 of us can do that. do that. Okay, but how do you manage this? Look, this foot stays on the ground, yeah? This one. Okay, so this is going to be like a pistol squat. Okay, so you manage all of the downward energy through the foot that's still on the floor. Yeah. Right. Okay, so use that leg to manage that. And when you get better at it, you can do more of this kind of stuff. Yeah, but for now, manage that through the squat. Okay, your hand should be just off to the side of the body. Don't put it out here because you're going to put a lot more stress and danger onto the shoulder. Yeah, so from here, we usually talk about the hand being at about 45 degrees to the body. Yeah, this not good idea. Yeah, here. Okay, and on these mats, you can use a cupped hand. It's fine. Okay. Okay. So one more go on the way back. Hey, does up. From lifting and throwing from a height. Now there are variations on that which are going to be better for those that don't have that ability or that confidence to do that. So that's fine. But the kata, it's quite a beautiful kata, right? Doing this kind of thing. This is a distinctive characteristic of our school's way of doing this kata. And it's interesting to think about why we might do that. The simple answer is because that's the way that Nagamine Shoshin Sensei learned it. Right? Makes the most sense, right? But why did he learn that version and not the version that's done in the Shidokan, for example? Shidokan is something like this, yeah? Okay, not wrong, but different, yeah? Much more stable, much slower, yeah? If we had the opportunity to have Nagamine Sensei back again and ask him some questions, then one of mine would be, do we do it this way because of the influence of Okinawan sumo practice into our karate, for example? So we know that many of the Okinawan practitioners, in fact today too to some extent, but back in the day, so to speak, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, a lot of the practitioners in the Matsubashi Dojo were also competing sumo wrestlers as well. So I think it would be very hard to imagine that their sumo didn't influence their understanding of their karate as well, right? Unfortunately, sumo you do on a sand beach or a softer surface, and karate started to be done almost exclusively on hard wooden floors, right? Not really conducive to being thrown around a lot, particularly as you get older. So you might see why some of the throwing techniques sort of got practiced less and less, just because the environment had changed, right? Okay, so let's jump back into Gojushiho. Okay, so what we're not going to do is try and examine it and have a solution for every single point in this supposedly 54-step kata. There's more than 54 steps, but we're not going to cover that in an hour. But we are going to jump into 1 or 2 spots. Okay, so please come back out to that. This, we do this motion here. Okay, so if we were looking at this from a, can we work together? Yeah. Okay, if we were looking at this from a kind of a boxing perspective, think about skill sets, yeah? Boxing skill set, right? Right? 1, 2, 1, 2, here. Yeah, that's, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. now, what we're going to try and do is also index that foot, right? So I'm going to try to index that foot so that when I cover and strike here, and I push there, I'm going to trap and get a bit more damage on the ankle as well. So one more time. So cover, cover. Look, now look, cover and come over the top. Right? So 1, 2, over the top. 1, 2, here. 2, here. Yeah. So this is kind of I'm putting the lid on his stance. Yeah. I want to try and put a lid, if I can, on his stance and strike over the top. You just go. Okay, so against the 1, 2. 1, 2, and move in. Try to suppress and come over the top of the stance. Okay? Boxing solution to start with. Hey, push. Grab a partner and give it a try. Hey. Foot's forward, try to index that foot, step on it, right? So that if you push him and you trap the ankle, it'll tear the ankle, right? And if you were looking for an additional distraction, you could do that, right? Okay. All right, but this is important, the wrapping, yeah? Punch, punch, 1, 2, look for this. For one instant here, because the motion is coming from your hip. Right, so you can continue to strike from your hip. Yeah, left side forward. Here, right, one more time. Right. Trap. Yeah. Try and get that trap. Strike there. Yeah. Try and stand on his foot. Stand on his foot. Stand on his foot. There. Yeah. So this is neko ashitachi, right? If you know Hokama sensei techniques, at this point you're already screaming. Yeah.
But I think you think more for throwing.
More straight line. But it's interesting, this opening has that possibility, that opening, right? So, right, if we could work together, right? So, I don't want to do this, right? Okay, it's not like parrying away, yeah? That's not a great strategy anyway, because just going to keep going, right? Going to keep going, yeah? So I have to try and find some advantage. So either I'm going to go and try and get to a better position, right? Or I'm going to try and trap just for enough time that I can come in and strike, yeah? So it's this idea of trapping, right? Just for here. I'm going to try, ideally, yeah, I'm going to end up, one more time. 1, 2, I'm going to ideally end up something like this, right? So that just for a second I control 2 hands with 1, yeah, and then I can come through and strike. This is a bonus. You won't always get it, but if you do get it, it's very easy to knock someone to the ground because their foot's trapped, right? Yeah. If you've ever trained with, I'm not going to do it. If you ever trained with Hokama sensei in Okinawa, at that point you're in screaming agony because he's driving his big toe down into your pressure points on the top of your foot. Fantastic technique. In the modern world, maybe you use it, maybe you don't. If she had a pair of boots on, not going to work. Yeah, but on a summer's day, flip-flops, yeah, maybe it might work. Beach shoes might work, right? So it's there. You understand about it, it's there, yeah? But actually what's more useful, I think, is this idea of trapping and pushing, yeah? Trapping and pushing, right? So it starts to affect their ability to recover from the push. Right. Thank you. Okay, next technique. So, height. Come through the punch. Height. This one, please. Height. Here, right? 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to trap, kick, and punch. Okay, so still now we're kind of on our boxing solution, right? Here, 1, catch, kick, strike. Okay, so this is our 1. Yeah. Here. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I set myself up for that arm bar again, yeah? So every time that I do Gyakuzuki now, we look for the arm bar as the add-on for that, right? So height, right? Catch. I step back with this leg, so I'll kick with this leg, but if I step back with this one, I'd kick with this one, yeah? And then through here, and then go for that arm bar. 1, 2, 3, and then we step and we turn. We turn the other way, yeah? Okay? So, the parry here, yeah? And again, hey. Let's do this side, hey. 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 So punch, punch, then the kick, then through here. Okay, so you can look at the difference between if you just punch, hey, this, hey, one more time, hey, this, how successful that is as the punch gets faster versus, hey, yeah, 1, 2, yeah. I would argue it's easier if you index using your shuto surface, find that arm, control that arm, don't get hit by that arm, and then come through and pull, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? That's the first skill, 1, 2. Then we have the koshi. So double punch, bang, bang, from the koshi. Then you come back and catch again. We've done that. We come back and catch again, here. Yeah, kick, and come through. Yeah. Okay, let's give it a try. Hey, does up. And then we do this piece. Okay, we've already done this bit. Right, we were doing that in our earlier work, yeah. So that should now be a piece of cake. Right? The idea that we're going to find a way in through, yeah, draw in and then pivot through, right? That's that movement in the kata, or one interpretation of that movement in the kata. Yeah? Why do we have directional changes, fairly large directional changes in our kata? You know? What have you been, so this is interesting here. What have you been told, what instruction have you received, and I'm not assuming that any of it is wrong, about what the big, like a 180 degree or 270 degree direction change in kata, what it means, what it is. Okay, let's have one at a time. You what? Say again?
The opponent is going to turn.
Right, so you're turning with the opponent, right? Yep, yep. Small Sokujutsu turns because you are manipulating the other person. You're turning their arms or turning their head or something. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah? To generate the energy for a takedown? Yeah? Yep. Takedowns? Yep. Yeah.
Multiple opponents.
Ah, good. That was the one you used to hear a lot. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. But you used to hear that a lot more often, like 20 years ago, right? Yeah, but my memory serves. 20 years ago, when you changed directions because you were dealing with a new opponent. Okay? Yeah. Not invalid, but if you have grappling or throwing kind of skill set or gyakuwaza, kansetsuwaza skill set, you start to see that those patterns look a lot like turning and manipulating and applying leverage to the other person. Yeah, absolutely. Or there's another one. Any other ideas? Yeah. Okay, so you hit the wall and you had to turn around. Yeah. What does Hokama Sensei say about Sanshin practice? Hokama Tetsuhiro Sensei, right? Maybe a lot of you guys know him, right? What does he say about Sanshin practice? Did he ever say it to you, or? So, people would say, oh, should we be doing 3 steps forward or is it 4? And he was like, it doesn't matter. He said in the old days, we just did sanchin in the yard or on the beach, and you just kept going as long as you could, and then you turned around and came back again. So it might be that the kata started to be done indoors, and you had to turn around because you hit a wall. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I heard that exact same explanation from the long fist praying mantis practitioners in Taipei. Yeah. So usually their forms are done outside. They just train it out in the park, in the garden, right? And their forms are basically linear. They start there and they finish there, right? Except when they train indoors, in which case they have to turn around because they hit a wall and go back the other way. So that's exactly why there was a turn put in the kata right there. My point is this, is that there are different reasons for turns in the kata, but if we can find a usable explanation for this direction change, and if we find that through our understanding of, for example, looking for opportunities to do gyakuwaza, to do throwing techniques, then that should be something that we can train into that kata. So, this motion. This has always intrigued me, this. Yeah. Okay. There's another kata in Okinawan karate which has a similar motion. It's seisan, right? Seisan has a similar motion. Yeah. Right. This is the motion we often do more often with for example, our shuto. We go over the top because it enables us to suppress the person's guard and go over the top. Suppress and go over the top, right? Yeah, so this is the sort of, let's say it's the forward cycle, but the reverse cycle is a little bit different. It's quite interesting. Yeah? So, in our Tamari-te kata, we have a lot of lateral motion. But the Shuri-te is sometimes more direct. Okay, so we're just going to work on that because it's not something that you see too much used overtly in karate, but actually it is a mainstay of Shidokan. Iha sensei was a master of this motion, right? Yeah. Shidokan, Iha Seikichi sensei's karate, beautiful. If you want to further study this kind of stuff, that's one place to go and have a look. He's gone now, very unfortunately, but people like Nakayama and his other students continue that legacy. We're going to practice this a little bit. So what we're going to do, can we work together again? You might be used to doing this, doing this stuff. Let's have 1 and 2. So 1, 2. So we're going to practice just slipping past. Yeah. So 1, 2, and slipping past. Okay. And slipping past. Okay. So we're going to now to try to avoid lateral motions, right? Yeah, slipping past. Okay, so it's just an exercise in kind of learning to sort of experiment with this motion. If we do it this way, yeah. So if you go late, it gets much harder, right? So go early. Yeah, go early. Yeah. Okay, go early. Go and meet. Again, this kind of stickiness, the idea of stickiness, yeah? So we're not patting or blocking, we're receiving. It's the essence of uke. Receiving, and still sticking. Yeah, as we come through. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to do that as an exercise with a partner. All right, try to work laterally, yeah? On the outside of their arms. Outside of their arms to start with. We'll do inside or half position afterwards, yeah? Right.
At least it was how you demonstrated.
So which 1, 2, and then 3. Yeah. So try to avoid going laterally. Yeah. Try to avoid that.
Punch coming, I do it inside.
So we're gonna go outside, half inside, and inside.
This reflection you're making is interesting. I also practice Waishiryu and then the Seisan with this.
Right.
And then I've been told like this is a valid technique, but might be code for this.
Well, Richuru, they use a lot of very strong finger jabs, right? And so we're gonna do this too. We're gonna go to the throat.
No, exactly. So this is very valid. But then I was also told like this version could be the the tiger element of Uechi-ryu.
Yeah. This one.
So we've been discussing like why was it done by below?
This is a little bit more like the they talk about the fish hands, carp,
exactly.
fish hands, yeah.
Like an eel.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, the essence of Shuri-te is that I moved just enough. You just missed, and I got the hit. And that's the essence, one of the essence of Shuri-te, right?
Yeah.
So you see, there's no uke.
No, just
Yeah. That bone and this bone straight. Yeah. That's this is one way to do it. Yeah. So imagine you're hitting just with a knuckle. Yeah. Usually when we do this, we're striking in the solar plexus or the throat. Not so much in the throat. It's hard to get in and down. So it's this. So this is something else, but so I might do this, find here, and then
Like
find it, and then do it. Yeah. So this is the short range punching from your center. Yeah. And then we'll go one way and go the other way. Well, we'll do that in a minute. Right? Work on the outside. And this is still here too, right? But if my objective is to get out of this throat as fast as possible, then this might be a more useful strategy to do that. Rather than blocking, receive and go past. Okay? So this is the outside, yeah. But let's say I go half and half. Okay? So 1, 2. Sometimes I can punch reasonably hard, but we want to learn to use our whole momentum, right? Our whole momentum. Yeah? What we do next is a little bit of Q shot. If you put all of your momentum into a very small point, very, very effective. Okay? But before we get there, I know some of you guys will jump straight in there. Right. 1, 2, position, and come through. So this is receiving, yeah? I'm not stopping and blocking. Now I don't want to get into a no relative advantage. Okay, no relative advantage. So come through. Okay? At the moment, not a striking solution, but obviously could be a striking solution. Of course. Yeah. So close. But it's a slight modification to what you were doing before, just a slight one. Okay? So fake punch. Just a slight modification, okay? Really try, thank you. Right? If I went back here, it turns into one of the essence of Shuri-te is that you miss by just enough. This is why it's difficult. Because you want to have it over there, right? You really don't want it near you. But you only need to do this. The earlier you get to it, the more you've got control. The more you
It still sucks.
Rub this. Well, most of them nothing already.
Well, I'm already out of balance. I mean, you can so many
But
things.
also, once you've done it a few times, you know what's going to happen. And so there's a shock in the same position, similar position, right? So 1, 2, 3. And up here, right? But let's say I've slipped past, right? I've gone here, or I've done this, and he has pushed me past, yeah? I'll come back here for this instead. So if I end up on the outside of his neck, here, I'll bring this in, roll my forearm, roll it in to the muscle, tuck in, and bring it out. This is a strike as well, right? He's a tough guy, I know he says something. Now I'm going to come down. I'm not going to go this way. I'm going to go down. You know kesagiri? No? Kesagiri, it's a sword cut, right? The sword cut goes down through there. It's called kesagiri because it basically tracks the line of the collar of a kimono, right? Here. So I'm kind of doing this, kesagiri line, right? I've got myself to here. I'm going to go down through, right, down through to my, so kesagiri. Oh, thank you. So that's the line, yeah? That line there. So this forearm, my bone here, I rotate in, so the bone is forward. So it's not, if I use the fleshy part of my arm, it's not so effective. So I'm going to bring in the bony part of my arm, and I'm going to imagine I was cutting down through there. I'm going to draw here. Okay, so my hikite power, very powerful. And I'll need to pivot a little bit to give him a space to fall into. And then I suggest you pin him while you're just checking out if anybody else is nearby as well. All right? So this is a variation where you found that your arm has ended up on the outside, on this side. Okay, thank you. Give it a try. Right? Just give it
It doesn't actually really hurt. It's like go, I make you come. Yeah. So now you're doing more lunge.
Push it a bit around, yeah? This is flesh, right? But here, see this. Almost like this is a blade. Use it. Imagine the sword cutting down to that edge. He's going to start to forward and to pivot. Okay, so on that move, that was better. On the way in, you don't want to do this on the way in. This is a strike. Bang. That might be enough to knock him out. Right there, down through the karate silence, it might be enough just to, in which case to take that easy. Because you've already seen the start. So that's a strike. No, we can't do it every time. But it's this. So it's not this. You're in a position to put on the water. Yeah. Let's take a very quick break, drink of water, and then come straight back. And we'll look at using these turning energies for various throwing techniques. So, can I work with somebody who is okay with falling and breakfalling? Get it. Always. We're going to work from that same sort of entry strategy that we were looking at, just because that's the theme that we have in the kata, right? But the throw should be very, very familiar to anybody that does judo or Japanese style grappling and throwing arts, right? So same thing again as we did before. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to have here. Hey. Okay. You don't even need the coup de grace finish, to be honest. I actually think that this is sometimes a bad idea because you just didn't like their friend to kick you in the face. Right? So, but yeah, you have to. Okay. But, so this is, what throw was that? Anybody know? I know I did it bad. Serenaga. Let's do it again. So, this would have been Serenagi. Yeah? It wasn't Serenagi. So, somewhere between Harakoshi and Serenage, so we call it Serenage. Ippon Harakoshi. It's a body drop. Body drop. What's the difference between a body drop and a hip throw?
One is your lifting and the other stays.
Yeah, hip throw, they generally go over or slightly around your hip, but a body drop, you get out of the way and drop them in the space you've created. Yeah. Body drops are more a go-to for me because picking people up and bringing them over me and down again is a longer route than simply dragging them around and throwing them to the ground. So, but you know, every throw you're going to have to work to figure out if you can make it work and when it best works for you. So this one though, we can use the same entry, right? But this time, this hand, my right hand, so my opposite hand, this kata is very, very right-handed. Like a lot of kata, yeah, so 1, 2, yeah, and end up here, look. Yeah. And we drop in. Here's my 270-degree turn. Drop in. Okay, 1, 2. Just check where you want. Okay. Okay. So that's one variation. Okay. Who thinks they can do that or have done that before? So that's one that you could practice. Yeah. Okay. So that's higher touching. Yeah. Slightly, some ways simpler one. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So not a body drop or a hip throw. This is closer to ukinage. Yeah? So you don't have to make them fly through the air. It's great if you do. Fantastic. Yeah. But if it's 1, 2, and this one. bring down. Yeah. Very cooperative movement. What usually happens is they head face plant into the ground. Because they don't. Yeah, because if people don't know how to land. So we can do this slowly. So 1, 2. Here's a strike. Boom. Right. And then I turn. Right. I turn and I bring him with. I don't need to breakfall at all. Okay. Forget you can break. Right. 1, 2. Now head comes down. Yeah. Just make him collapse to the ground. This is much less impact, obviously, so better for you guys not to use to flying break. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and again you want to end up roughly in this position. Okay. This only works when there's a fair amount of momentum happening here. Okay? If you're in a grappling position, right, where you're locked into the stance, it's not impossible, but this is much harder to pull off. Yeah, so this is really a momentum stroke. Taitoshi also works really well with momentum. Yeah, so when someone's steaming in towards you, with that, particularly with that right side, you can say thank you very much. The essence of uke, receiving. Yeah. So thank you very much. Yeah, and you receive, you use that momentum. Yeah, you want to use that momentum. Right. Let's look at one other option, which doesn't really involve any throwing whatsoever, but is a bit scary. Okay? This time I'm going to try my way to the inside. In the old days, in Okinawa, that was the men's hairstyle, particularly the Bushi class, samurai class. Yeah, it was a knot or a ponytail. Yeah, so very often there was a handle at the back of the head. If they were wearing a hat or a helmet, yeah, that helmet could be manipulated in the same way. Okay, so when we're doing this, right, if I just push his chin, he'll dig in, right? Resist, yeah? Resist, yeah? So that's why this has to be a rotational motion. It has to be a rotational motion there. Now, it's very hard for him to resist. Okay? So, you can work it for yourself, Here, yeah, you can dig in, you can, yeah, it's not, you still might get it, you still might get that strike in that back, but yeah, he knows what's happening when he resists. But if you do this, and then rotate, harder to resist. Okay? So now we have a number of different options from getting inside the guard. Yeah? Depending on your skill set. Yeah? Depending on your tool set. Right? If you know how to do Haag, you can execute it from this position. Okay? The one like this, right, is what's a koshi-guruma? It comes in, 1, 2, here. Koshi. Guruma. Okay. So the leg rising through. I lift, the thing with this is I lift the hip. So leg lifts, but the hip lifts, right? So when the hip lifts, yeah, I bring up on my hip. Yeah, so this is why it's a hip wheel, right? So this, and it gives me more. As one interpretation or implementation of that movement. What's interesting is it's preceded by a turn. 1, 2, 3, tight. yeah, preceded by a big turn. Okay. So if we're receiving the force this way, then we're going to go in that way. Right? Receiving the force this way, here, end up going that way. Okay. The turning momentum is in the back. Push. So, thank you very much. So the last. Are we doing the same movements? Yeah. So this is kind of how we get in. This is how we get in. So if we go back to this for me, when I was doing this, I would go to Tayotoshi as my default. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Tayotoshi. That would be my default. My go-to. So you can see some different. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, try to use this as an entry strategy. An entry strategy. I'm not saying this is the entry strategy to beat all others, but it does have some advantages. So you're thinking about it, right? If I'm coming up through the middle, it's really hard for him to see that. Yeah? Whereas if I'm coming in here, you're much more visible. So there's some advantages in coming up the center line. There's some advantages there. It's less visible. It's also very, very strong. So that's actually one of our basics, Oitsuki. Oitsuki, which means lunging punch. So one implementation of this is they can punch one, and this one is just moving in exactly through the same place. So it's a double punch. It's a double punch. Boom. Literally. Boom. Percussive. Yeah. And we do it basically. Start 1, 2. So if you look at the old Shuri-te, if you look at Motobu, if you look at Kishimoto beat, then you'll see very quick percussive strikes. Yeah, like this. Which we saw earlier in the first section of the Kata. Okay, so last 5 minutes or so, let's have a play with these turning, throwing, or takedown techniques. Okay, just take it slow, have a little play. I'll come around and help out where I can. Alright? See what you can make work. You've got a basket of a few different things that you can use. Push.
This one isn't it? Oh, the load up.
Okay, man. Do the Kata together one more time. Please. Make sure you got enough space. Again, if we can have our. Great. Oh, actually, no. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, here we go. Gojushiho. by the way, also called useishi. I don't know if you heard that name before. Useishi is the older Okinawan name for the kancho. Useishi. So we still use that in Matsumura Shuri-te. It's like useishi. Useishi. Do it. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ai. Hey. Go. Chich. Ai. Punch. Skip. Forward, left by forward, shake knees up, turn, right, pitch, see, such, shake, right, go, 1, 2, 3, rising, turn, right, throw, rise, pitch, pitch, pitch. There's a double punch. Pitch. Pull. Push. Right side, left side, right side, pull. Hey! Turn. Hey. 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 Okay. Any questions? Thank you so much for being a great training group today. So I think I'm here and it's a wonderful time. Thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity. I want to say a couple of things. One thing is, when you come to Okinawa, perhaps it's the first time when you visit as a guest, maybe before you're even affiliated with a local teacher, you'll have a fantastic time. No doubt about it. You'll have a great time. You'll see a lot of fantastic stuff. But you really only see the surface layer. Okay? There's a lot of good, valid reasons for that. Right? The teachers don't know you. So they're not going to show you all the great stuff straight away, right? But my feeling is that, having worked with quite a few teachers in Okinawa, obviously Aragaki Sensei Matsumura Shuri is my primary teacher, sponsor, but I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to train with a lot of different teachers, and there's an incredible depth to Okinawan karate, but it's not just handed to you on a plate. Unfortunately, there is no definitive textbook of Okinawan karate. There are a few people who've made some steps and strides towards that, some real martial arts geniuses, and whether you like him or not, he tends to polarize. Pankiewicz Sensei, probably one of the most energetic and ambitious and courageous explorers of Okinawan martial arts, Okinawan karate, as well as other things too. But there are Okinawan teachers too. They don't tend to write books so often, they don't tend to be on the internet so often, but there are teachers there who have a wealth of knowledge. Sometimes you need to invest a little bit in letting them get to know you in order for them to share with you, which makes sense, right? Some of the things that we've done today, you wouldn't necessarily show to just anybody, right? I have a feeling that you're all fairly responsible martial artists. Yeah. So you have a moral code that goes with your martial practice. That's really, really important. But getting back to the point about Okinawa is that I think it's one of those things, if you want to find a rare gemstone, you've got to really dig to find the treasure. Yeah, it's certainly worth it when you do. Right? So I would say let's keep digging, and let's keep enjoying the process, and doing it together, sharing it with each other, doing it together. I think that's kind of the best part about it as well. Right? Okay, should I finish there? Push, hey, good skate. Shomen. Hey! Otagai ni. Hey! Arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much. But clearly it could be all kinds of different strikes, right? Obviously. So, 1, 2, please. Right. So clearly it could be a strike to the chin, yeah. It could be a strike to the nose, okay. This is the one I like, this one, here, yeah. If you know it's coming, you're ready for it, it's this, yeah. But if you're not ready for it, it's, yeah. So you can see, I've seen big guys. This is a doorman special. Experienced guys in the door, they use this a lot, right? Because nobody got punched in the face. They just got pushed back slightly. There's no way, right? But that is that, you know, because generally people swing in with the right, yeah? Yeah, and this comes through here. Right. Boom, yeah? Okay, so there's that one there. Okay. If you really, really don't like them, and we don't have any children here, so I think we can do this. Right, so this one, yeah? Right. So, windpipe is here, yeah? If you grab the skin, it doesn't do anything, but if you go in and behind the windpipe, you get that. Okay? Now, very easy to throw to the floor. I'm not saying you should try and crush the windpipe like you're in some roadhouse or anything. No. You will go to prison for a very, very long time. Right? But the effect, this is disconcerting. This is terrifying. Yeah? It's like, shit, I'm doing that. Right? It's terrifying, right? So, it's important thing to know to use. If you were in a situation where you had to, like, really get the hell away from you, really put the fear into them, grab them by the windpipe and hold on for a couple of seconds, you'll see the expression in their face change. So you can explore that with your own students. Here's one I like, right? It's relatively low